The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 62. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, TurnBasedCarl. Our other co-host, Burley of Burleyman Gaming on Twitch. He's off this week. He will hopefully be back with us next week. So, Carl, how you doing, man?
Doing great this morning here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have my energy drink, so I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I have some oolong tea instead.
Oh, all right.
So,
Oolong tea. Yeah, me too.
we'll see
I've
how
got
it
my
goes.
tea here.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Why don't you have your Arizona tea today?
I just forgot to buy more. I bought like 12 at a time because they have that 4 for $2 deal all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I buy them in fours, and then when I run out, sometimes I don't immediately go out and get more. Although sometimes, like 2 days in, when I haven't had it, I'm like, oh god, I need my fix. So
I should have Burley get you a box of spiritual opium, man. Yeah,
Mhm.
that'll help you out.
yeah, it's a good substitute.
Right. All right, so we got a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, Series S have hit their 1 year anniversary, Carl. 1 year already, man. It's been a year.
Hard to believe.
Just hard to believe. It's just flown by. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Steam Deck. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Some new Game Pass games in December. We're going to be talking about those as well and much more. And we're going to be talking about the games that we've been playing this past week. But first, here's a quick word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they have been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, and the post-show will be going to Patreon in early access for 1 day after recording. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month, and get early access to every episode and post-show, as well as listen ad-free, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. Weekly on Sundays, the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services. Weekly on Wednesdays for the post-show, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, Spotify, Amazon Music, and on Expat's YouTube channels, Expat YouTube Gaming and The Arena Citadel. Just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena, AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at The Arena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
Okay, Carl, I haven't had much time to play games this week. I've been pretty busy, doing some other stuff. But I was going back because on last episode, Burley and we were talking about N7 Day.
Yeah.
And I went back and I was playing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, playing the first Mass Effect game. And I was enjoying it, just going back and reliving those moments. But the game that I really started playing a couple of days ago, and we're going to talk about this later in the topic of the show, so I'm going to wait for that, is Forza Horizon 5. We're going to talk about that more in the topic of the show. So I will wait until then. So I will give it to you now. What have you been playing this past week?
Well, it's funny. You guys talked about N7 last week, N7 Day, and you're like trying to predict what are they going to do, and like, of course, you were all wrong, and they just just put out a poster.
What do you know?
A freaking poster. And I find it bothers me so much. Like people get excited about that. I'm like, dude, the game. Like, I love Mass Effect. I'm a huge fan of that franchise.
Yeah.
But man, do I have like no hype or excitement for what they're doing right now, because I just don't believe that we're going to see this for any time. And I don't know if I have faith in them to make another good game. Like maybe they will, but I mean, who knows? It's not the same people on it anymore. I mean,
we're going to see it. We're going to see it this generation, but it's going to, like you say, it's going to be a long time. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're talking like 2024 at least. But,
probably.
Look, I kind of like the idea is that Dragon Age, whatever, what is that? 4, right? The 4th Dragon Age game?
Right.
Like that game, we saw teases several times, and still we've never seen the game. And still, I think we have no idea when that game's coming out. It's like, don't even talk about what you're doing after Mass Effect. The Dragon Age, right? You can't even show me that.
Yeah.
And I laugh hysterically at the title is still on the poster, like Mass Effect will return. I'm like, really? Really?
Yeah. So probably when you were in New York listening or watching us last week, you were probably just like,
yeah. I'm like, I don't, yeah.
You guys are crazy, man. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm still waiting for Legendary Edition to drop on Game Pass, because it should be on EA Play at some point, I assume.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It Takes Two came, and so we'll see. So yeah, what have I been playing? Forza Horizon 5. We'll talk about that later. Right. I guess just more Darkest Dungeon 2 primarily.
Okay.
Which I feel like I've kind of reached the end of it. Not that like there's an end, a real end, but like it's early access, and there's not a lot of content, I would say.
Okay.
I mean, comparing to like the original game, and I even played the first game in early access as well, and I felt like there was a lot more content, and maybe just partially because of the way the structure goes.
Right.
This one is very much like a roguelike where you have runs, versus the other one, which was similar, but it really played that differently. Like you would go on a dungeon run, but when you finish that in the first game, you would go back out to your town. You can use those characters again as long as they survive.
Right.
In this version, you have to do a full run all the way to the end of the mountain, and once you do that, then that's the end. Those characters are done. You start over.
Right.
It's got I enjoyed it a lot. I'm still playing it, even though I've finished a run, and you can, and I've unlocked everything that you can unlock in this version at the moment. All the characters. Well, okay, there's still other things you can unlock, but all the characters, that's all that really matters. Like, I'm not really gonna level all the way up to get all the gear options, because what it was weirdly doing is that you have a profile level, and as you level that up, it unlocks items to use on your runs. But you don't get those, right? It's like it's unlocking items that can appear in your run.
Okay.
And they're better or different. Most of them are better. I mean, for the most part, that was the reason of some sort of progress, right? That you have access to better items as you go. It'll make it easier to finish a run. It's a really good game. I just don't think, you can really judge it fully at this point. Like, it's just missing a lot of content. Like, there has to be a lot more to it.
I see. Just one thing, this is kind of off the topic, but did you hear that Triangle Strategies pre-orders went live?
That was a while ago, actually.
Really?
I've already had it pre-ordered on Amazon.
Oh, okay. So. Okay. So maybe a week or two ago, but okay.
Yeah, maybe
you got yours
another place did it, right? Yeah. Well, because originally it was just on Nintendo's thing. Right, their website when it first got up, and I was like, "Is this just digital? Is this physical? Like, I want a physical copy of this game, because I know it's going to retain value. Those type of games, a lot of JRPGs, and especially like Switch games now, I think because they never drop in price, so it's going to retain
well,
value.
later on, I'll post on Twitter. But I saw the advertisement at Yodobashi today for Triangle Strategy.
Oh yeah,
and
I
the
want to see
physical
that.
copy is coming out. I'll show it to you later. But,
Yes.
yeah.
I want it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the weekly news beat. So, Carl, we have reached this past week the 1-year anniversary of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and Series S's launch. Can you believe it, man? I mean, yeah, I know you still don't have a PS5, but yeah, I mean, this past year, some incredible games have come out for both systems, but I just want to know how you feel about this first year of the new consoles. I mean, obviously, it is really difficult for a lot of people to grab them, particularly on the PlayStation side of things. Even out here in Japan, it was really, really difficult. And they still are difficult to come by. When I was in Yodobashi today, there were no PS5s. Yeah. So,
I mean, it's still the case. You go to a store, you can't buy one of these. Any of these next gen. Yeah. Now, obviously, in certain areas, you could probably pick up a Series S. I know some of them have been just available at stores, and in Japan, things are different. But actually, I saw that I think they did surpass all of the Xbox One generation now for the Series consoles in Japan.
Yes.
That's a nice feet. It's a good thing to happen.
Very good.
If you're
very
Microsoft.
Good. Positive vibes for the Japanese market here for sure. So
yeah, I mean, obviously, I can speak really to the Xbox experience.
Yeah,
and as like Series X, I think is definitively their best console.
Yeah,
and obviously, people would say that the weak point is the library of games.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about strictly exclusives, right, and next gen exclusives, right, or current gen now,
it's like we keep saying that, it's current gen.
There isn't a lot, even both consoles, right? If we talk about like you can easily rattle off the games that are just only next gen, which is like Returnal, right, Ratchet and Clank, Flight Simulator, The Medium.
Right.
Demon's Souls.
Bridge of Spirits. Yeah.
No, that's PS4, isn't it? I think also.
Well, it was made for PS5 though. I mean,
but it's also on PS4. Right?
It's also on PS4, but it's a
so
PS5 game as far as
if we're talking about what's only. I mean, this Forza Horizon 5 is also on Xbox One, but nobody's talking about that version at all.
Yeah.
And I think because we're at the point where, like, if you're into gaming culture, you have one of these. You obviously you're not playing on the old systems anymore,
right?
So yeah, like their library speaking for the experience of what current gen now will be. We're really not there on either platforms, and Sony PlayStation has had a few more that exemplify what you might see. But even still, like, PlayStation is going to put out stuff that looks way better than Returnal and Ratchet and Clank in a couple of years. Like, don't even question that, because if you look at
I mean, when God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West come out, those are going to be amazing. So
yeah, it's like Last of Us Part 2 on PS4 looks amazing. It's incredible. It's one of the best looking games like I've played. It's like, you can do it if you put the money and the time and the effort into it. You can do it on smaller, on that type of hardware. So like Xbox as a whole, right? I mean, I think, like I said, I think it's the best they've done for reasons of, like, the experience is just so good. Like the hardware, as far as like speed, OS speed, and functionality of the OS, like, it's obviously just a continuation of the first Xbox One generation on the operating system, but it just runs so much better. Like, and I know, because like when I go back to one of my old systems, which I've done. Yeah, I've done the cloud gaming on my One X now.
Yeah,
I mean, just booting the thing up is slow. Just doing anything in the OS is significantly and noticeably slower.
Yeah.
Quick resume is just incredible for someone. If you have Game Pass, like you want quick resume, because you're gonna be jumping between games, and you notice it when a game doesn't have quick resume. You're like, oh, why? Ugh, I don't want to wait. I don't want to watch all these logos and Like,
Right.
get me back to where I was just playing a minute. Like, all the major games do it, and like when I go back to Forza, like it's right where I was. It takes no time, and I'm there. I'm back driving immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me say a few things about PlayStation, though.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Let's hear it.
obviously, of course, the supply shortages have been a problem. But on the hardware side of things, obviously, the PlayStation, it had its issues, especially the PlayStation 4 with its jet engine noises. I think and it's funny how the fan situation, they had to put a bigger fan into the PS5 to reduce that noise, and they actually were putting different fans into the PS5s. I think there's a newer model of the PS5 that was brought out here in Japan that actually has a different model of fan inside of it.
But the one I think with the different heatsink has a slightly different fan as well.
Yeah. But it's a noticeable difference now. I mean, when I played Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, when I played Kena Bridge of Spirits, I even played Spider-Man Miles Morales on it, which is, it's still PS4, but it's, PS5 also. But there's no fan issues now.
That's great.
It's very quiet. One thing I do have to say about the PlayStation, though, is the user interface, which is quite different from the user interface that we used on the PS4. I think that needs to change, and especially when it comes to folders and things like that. That's something that PlayStation is very, very slow at changing. So I want to see them implement that. But just the lack of titles. I mean, there's a lot of people that are playing Fortnite, they're playing Apex on PS5,
right,
and they're waiting for the big, exclusives to come out. And I think Xbox with Game Pass has beat them to the punch when it comes to, the amount of games that you can actually play on a particular system. So like in this first year, I've played Returnal, I've played Kena Bridge of Spirits, I've played Oddworld Soulstorm, which was one of the first games.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. So, and they're amazing games, don't get me wrong, but it's just the amount and the availability of games. I mean, they just don't have, and I've said this many, many times before, they just don't have that Game Pass yet. Where
Destruction All-Stars, man. Day one, PlayStation Plus, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I really think it's really hampering Sony with this chip shortage. It's really hurting them right now.
They just cut back their estimate by 1 million units.
By 1 million,
right?
yeah.
What they're going to ship,
Yeah. So, I mean, next year is going to be much better, obviously. You got a lot of those, exclusives coming down the pipeline. And Gran Turismo 7 is also coming out. And we've been getting out here in Japan a lot of promotions now at the electronic stores for its March release for Gran Turismo 7. So
see if they make that. I mean, you never know.
We'll see. Yeah.
I think Gran Turismo 7, I mean, it should be a big deal. I mean, it's a big franchise.
Yeah.
But it is the strict sim racer. And considering the reception of Forza Horizon 5 so far, right, and the fact that it's on Game Pass, I feel like a lot of people are like, well, do I really need to play Gran Turismo that much? Like, if you're super into racing in cars and sim stuff, you're going to want that. But if you're not, and we'll talk about more feelings about Forza Horizon and racing games in general, I think when we get to that, you're probably just going to that'll be enough of your experience for that type of game.
Yeah.
But, other things I want to say about, I guess it's sort of, more Xbox, but in this generation also. Like this, so far, I think this generation has been a lot of just enhancing your experience of what you already have. Yeah. And obviously Xbox does that more with backwards compatibility. But PlayStation 5 also is doing, you play all the PS4 games on it. Right. And so we're seeing so many enhanced versions or just updates, 60 frames per second, things like that. And like that to me is huge. I used to be one of those people. I remember back long ago when PC people were like, console sucks. You're playing on 30 frames per second. That's garbage. Why? Like you gotta like, I would ever want to play that. And I used to think like, you guys, that's weird. What are you talking about? Now that I'm there with 60 frames per second, I never want to go back. I cannot. I don't want to play anything. Like, I almost might. No,
I was going to say it's the same with the SSD drives too on these two consoles.
That's a huge difference too.
That's huge difference. The load times. I mean, like when I was playing Kena Bridge of Spirits on PS5, it was like less than a second.
Yeah.
Loading.
Yeah, load times. All right.
Boom,
I'm trying to think
boom.
like. Yeah. I mean, I don't actually seriously play anything else on other platforms. So yeah, like load times are. If I go back, it's awful. Like you just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, 20, 30 seconds at least.
Yeah. And what's great about, playing cloud gaming on the Xbox, One X is that you get the load times, the fast load times, because it's a Series X in the cloud. So but I mean, the overall experience of all of your older games is just phenomenal now. And people want to keep playing those. People are still playing Fortnite, like you said, which is not a new game. Right? No. But going back and experiencing these games in a better way, or just with Game Pass, like jumping in and having that library. A PlayStation has the PS Plus.
PS Plus.
What is it called? No, what's the thing called? The collection.
PlayStation
PS Plus
Now?
Collection. No, the PlayStation Plus collection.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
If you bought a PS5, you got all those great games to play.
That's right.
And I'm sure a lot of those are ones that were enhanced.
That's right.
That are going to run better.
Yeah.
It's like it's night and day. I don't want to go back ever. Like that's a sign that the generation is good, and where we should be here. This is good. This is what we want as gamers.
Let me ask you this, Carl. From looking towards the future here, because a lot of the gaming like media was speculating at the beginning of this new generation that because of the technology enhancements are coming so much quicker these days, that this generation, the PS5, the Xbox Series X generation, probably wouldn't last the normal like console generation cycle of like say 7 years. It would probably be like a 4-year cycle. Do you think now with these chip shortages, do you think this generation is going to end up being a normal cycle console generation of say 7-8 years?
It's hard to say if that will actually change things. It could, because like they're saying, it could go into 2023 still with chip shortages. But I think if you look at it from a cost perspective, they might try to keep this generation as long as possible as well, because the profit margins on these systems are really, really low. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know that, and with the chip shortage, right? I don't think that their cost is going to go down anytime soon. So that could be the factor there as well. These systems have more technology, more power than you've ever had in any of these consoles.
They're like PCs now, basically.
Yeah, and it's a stark difference from last generation. Like PS4 and Xbox One, especially the Xbox One, was using some pretty dated hardware at the time of it was released, right? Versus Series X and PS5, they're not using dated stuff. They're using pretty current tech in there. Obviously not top of the line PC, but the way consoles work, they are competing with top of the line PC. Obviously not like, your $600 graphics card, right? But like they're getting pretty close, and that's all I really need. I don't need it to be extreme. It's as long as it's pretty close, that's happy.
If it gets extreme, then you're talking about drivers and all this stuff having to update, and that's the pain in the ass part of it all. So
PC is a rough place sometimes,
Yes. Okay. Oh, well, speaking of chip shortages and PC stuff and PC gaming, our next story is kind of unfortunate. And our other co-host, Burleyman Gaming, he was, texting me over on Discord, and he was like, I was really, really sad to get the email about this. The Steam Deck launch has been delayed by 2 months. Yeah, Carl.
Not his play date. Did he pre-order a play date?
I guess I don't know. Yeah.
We don't need to talk about that. I don't.
Yeah. So anyway, let me go ahead and read this to you. This is from The Verge and Jay Peters. So Steam Deck launch delayed by 2 months. So Valve is delaying the launch of the Steam Deck, its handheld gaming PC, by 2 months. The Steam Deck had been set to launch in December, but Valve now estimates that its first orders will start shipping in February 2022. So, quote, "We're sorry about this. We did our best to work around the global supply chain issues, but due to material shortages, components aren't reaching our manufacturing facilities in time for us to meet our initial launch dates," end quote, Valve said in a blog post. So, the global supply chain shortage has had a massive impact on the technology industry. Next-gen consoles and NVIDIA 30 series graphics cards have been famously difficult to buy for going on a year. For example, BMW said last week that some new cars won't have touch screens because of chip shortages. So,
no touch screen on my BMW. Good luck, God. Just throw that thing in the trash,
so like
man.
in every sector of even the auto industry, the tech sector is hurting. Yeah. So,
dude, my supermarket's hurting. Sometimes they don't have stuff I want on the shelves.
So anyway, Carl, what do you think of this? Did you order a Steam Deck? I haven't pre-ordered one because, of course, out here in Japan, we don't have those pre-orders available yet.
Okay,
But,
yeah.
How about for you?
It looks like it's going to be really cool, but I don't need one. I don't, so
Okay.
I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
That's the same reason why I don't have a PS5. Like I kind of only need one console at the moment. I barely have the time I want to play the games.
You need Game Pass.
I do need Game Pass. And that's the thing.
You need Game Pass, yeah.
It's a big decision on what to buy now because it gives me easy access to a lot of things that I don't have to worry about if I spent money on. Like, I bought this $60 game and I don't like it. I feel compelled to play it.
Yeah.
That's how I am anyway. So the Steam Deck, I mean, it's not a big loss for me. I understand people being upset about it, but
yeah, it's a bummer for Christmas, especially. Valve is probably seen now as the Grinch by many people who pre-ordered this thing. But
yeah, I don't think it's going to be that. It's not going to be a big deal because it's nothing. It's not anything new. Mm-hmm. Everything you can play on the Steam Deck, you can play on your PC. So
yeah.
Actually, you'd play more on your PC because I don't think it's going to be able to play every game that works on Steam.
Not.
So, I mean, it's not something. It's not like delaying, the play date, which is a bigger deal. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
That thing's unique. Expat. You can't crank other, video games. That's a new thing.
Yeah.
Do you even know what I'm talking about? The play date, man. The play date was delayed. It's that little like Game Boy looking thing
Carl.
with the crank on it. Yeah.
Yes.
People are going to be sad that they can't play their play date exclusives.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people talking about the Steam Deck. Everybody was saying that's the Vita 2 that Sony never made. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they're really looking forward to it. So
with more Sony games coming to PC and Steam.
Yep.
You'll be able to play, Horizon Zero Dawn on there, Days Gone, God of War is coming, right?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
No, I mean it'll be a really cool device when people finally get it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna, blow up the industry in any way because it's still just PC. It's PC in a mobile format, and that's cool, but it's not something totally new we haven't seen. It's not a new console,
I could see this selling really well out here, though. I mean, it would be a good competitor to the Switch for sure out here in Japan. I mean, because you got a lot of people that are commuting and they play games while they're commuting. So this and there's a lot of people out here in Japan that play PC games too. So to have the Steam Deck as a competitor to the Switch would be something really cool. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how long it takes for Valve to get it out here. So we'll see. So.
Yeah, I mean, Japan's a smaller market, so I do see why it's not a focus. Plus, you have to, have that language support.
Well, but then again, I mean, when you have millions of people out here playing mobile games on a mobile phone,
Mm-hmm.
it's a handheld device. So yeah, there's, a lot of sales potential out here, I think.
There is, yeah, definitely is. Also a strong competition from, Switch and mobile,
Yeah, of course.
People, it's expensive device. I don't know what people's
That's
wallets
true.
look like in
You're
Japan,
right there. I mean, yeah, and it would probably be even more expensive out here too. So, okay, let's go ahead and move on. We got an Xbox console exclusive coming out, Carl, called The Gunk.
Oh.
Gets a December release date. The Gunk, yes. I'm going to go ahead and read this. This is from Joe Screbbles over at IGN. So, a third-person sci-fi adventure with shades of Luigi's Mansion and Super Mario Sunshine will come to Xbox and PC on December 16th. There you go, Carl. PC. It's going to PC too. The game will also launch into Xbox Game Pass. There you go. Yeah. So the release date was announced during the Thunderful World event, set on an alien world covered in the titular Gunk. You follow the story of space hunters Ronnie and Bex, who are faced with the dilemma of scavenging a beleaguered planet and making the decision whether to leave for the cash or stay and try to help. So gameplay sees you clearing the Gunk using a power glove device called Pumpkin. As well as solving environmental puzzles and avoiding alien threats. The Gunk will run at a stable 30 frames per second on Xbox One, while it will play at 60 frames per second and up to 4K resolution on Xbox Series X and S and PC. So first announced last year, the Gunk comes from the developers of the SteamWorld series, previously known as Image and Form, now Thunderful Games, and marks the team's first fully 3D game. So we got to talk about this, man. Game Pass day one. I'm really excited for this one. What's more cool to use the pumpkin to clear out a bunch of junk. How do you feel about this? I'm excited. I'm going to play it day one. And it's a big if, I'm finished with Halo Infinite.
It's true. Yeah,
I mean, if I'm not done with Halo Infinite's campaign on the 16th, this one will have to wait. But I mean, it'll be the next game after that for sure. But
it looks like a really fun game. There's not will I play it day one? I mean, maybe there's not going to be other stuff releasing. There's not much releasing after in December. That late in December. Yeah. So it'll be something to play new at that point. It's holiday season. I mean, it's before Christmas, I guess. So people will need things to play still. Mm-hmm. It looks like a really interesting, fun game. It has a good pedigree behind development. Mm-hmm. It's Xbox's Returnal, right? It's the studio who's made some good games and who are now doing their first 3D game, just like Housemarque. Yeah.
And then for you, especially, it's third person. So hey,
it's third person. I like that. It's good stuff. I don't think it's I don't think it's a roguelike. I was just saying,
I don't think so.
Are SteamWorld roguelike games or no? Probably not. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so.
I've never even played those games. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on in those games, to be honest.
Well, I played the first one. It didn't seem roguelike to me. So
okay.
Yeah.
I was just like I said, I don't know anything about those games.
Yeah.
It should be a fun one. We'll see. Yep. They haven't shown a lot. Did they show a new video? I didn't see a new video.
No, they haven't shown a new video yet. They were just basically showing the reveal trailers before. So
it's one of like they haven't shown a lot. I kind of want to just see someone playing the game just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
my minute to minute experience playing that game. I really don't know what that's going to be like. I see the gunk, and you're like, using the gun thing to get rid of the gunk, and I don't know what the enemies are really like. I don't know what the platforming or puzzling is like.
Right. That's kind of the mystery of this game at the moment. So yeah, we shall see. But excited nonetheless. So on the 16th. So all right. So next up,
I'm still behind on Game Pass games, man. I mean,
you and me both.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to Moonglow Bay, which I do want to try.
Forgotten City, still haven't played that yet, right?
I haven't gotten to that one. No,
I haven't gone back to that yet because of Forza.
I think I'm like not gonna go back to Echo Generation. It just doesn't. Like I said the other episode, I don't think there's much more for me to experience. Like,
right,
there'll be some cool bosses that I haven't seen yet at the end of the game. The bosses are really awesome to look at. They're really interesting.
Yeah,
but other than that, like I'm not going to get much more out of that experience, in my opinion.
Yeah. So
yeah, and Forza's the game. Forza's the game right now.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and we're going to start talking about that here now. So, Forza Horizon 5 has now become the biggest Xbox Game Studios launch. It's amazing. Yeah, I have to admit, I haven't played much of it, except I've played about 3 to 4 hours of it, but it's mainly been on free roam. Of course, I played some of the races, at the beginning of the game and all.
We'll see if I can look up how many hours I played.
Yeah,
it's not a ton,
but not a ton. But I mean, yeah, for me, like I said, 3 or 4 hours of it. But just driving around the Mexican countryside, the game is so beautiful, and it's 60 frames per second
really is,
too, man. Oh, just looking at the car, it looks like a real car on the road. That's how detailed.
A lot of times, is. I'm like, this looks real. Yeah, I'm just like staring at like the details. So, yeah.
And the details when you're like, actually, I drove into a river, and I was like, it was a shallow river, and I was like driving through the river. Just to see what it was like, and just the detail of the water on the windshield and everything. It's amazing. Yeah. It
says I got 5 hours and 40 minutes.
5. Okay. Yeah.
Have you jumped into, what do they call it? Where you can like look, you can get in the car, you can open all the doors and the trunk and everything. Have you done that?
No, I haven't really done any of that. Just the driving around yet.
It's cool. It's like, before we get into, I guess, like, details of the game, just talking about the launch and the numbers.
Yep.
Really impressive. Now, and it's also on PC, of course. So we're not saying these are just Xbox users.
So around, as we're recording this, around 7 million active players, right?
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I know people will say like, oh yeah, that's because of PC, but like, look, this Xbox has been putting their games day and date on PC since Gears 5? I'm not sure if that was the first one. Did they do it on Quantum Break? Regardless, it's been years. Okay, so
I don't remember exactly, but
yeah. So it's not like it's not like they don't have things to compare to that have been doing this before. This is a really big launch, and honestly, it doesn't matter because it's the game. And if you care about the game and not just the platform that it's on, it's great to see something like that. And that just means that this franchise is popular and will grow even more.
Yeah, I'll just say this right now. I think it is the pinnacle racing game out on the market. Period.
It definitely is.
It's
for sure.
I mean, I mean, but Carl, how would you say it compares? I mean, how much better is it than Forza Horizon 4? Really?
I can't answer that. I never played Forza Horizon 4.
You never played Forza Horizon 4? Okay. I mean,
no.
I think there are a few graphical enhancements from 4. But I mean, you're in a completely different environment and all. I mean, it's hard to tell, really.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played 4 too, but I mean,
I know I've played one of them. I don't think it was 4. Wait, 4 was where?
Four was in the
Europe?
UK. In the UK.
And
Yeah.
3 was in Australia?
Yeah, I think Australia.
Okay.
Yeah. So now
Maybe
5's in Mexico. So
I might have played maybe like the demo of 4 when they released that early
Mm-hmm.
at some point. It was like pre-Game Pass, I think, when I actually played that.
Right.
Now I could have just played it, but I just never, wasn't a thing. I'm not into racing games. So I guess that get into like the discussion of the game and like as someone who's not into racing games, all right, and I start playing this. Yeah, like I'm playing this game and it does a good job of just like do whatever you want, just enjoy yourself, just drive around.
It makes you feel like a tourist. Makes you feel like a tourist. Yeah, definitely.
Like here's some really nice cars to start with. It's just, do you want to do a race? You want to just like, drive into some nice area, hit some billboards, get some experience, whatever you're doing as you're like driving, you're always getting experience, right?
Yeah.
It's always giving you, even if you're just driving on the street and it's still like calculating all of your driving moves. Yeah. And getting experience for it, which is nice because like you always feel like you're getting something as you're playing.
Right. Before we go on, I want to ask you, Carl, I don't know if you noticed this because as I was playing it, I was crashing into a lot of stuff at like 100 plus miles per hour, but then my car was never damaged in any way. Did you, you notice that?
Damage. They get damaged.
Really?
It's just, it's very light. It's not like, you're not going to see like cratered in like front end of the car. You're going to see like
that's what pieces. I was looking forward to though.
Yeah. It's like, no, they don't do that. Yeah. I think it's a licensing issue. Like they don't.
Okay.
The car companies don't want to see like their cars crumpled and just destroyed. Right. It's not a good look.
Yeah. Gaming crash test dummies.
Yeah. You see like bits and pieces come off. You see scratches and things and dents and little things like that on the car. Okay. You'll see it. Windshields will have cracks in them. They won't shatter. So there's a light amount of damage. It's typical for these type of games. Like you never saw that in Gran Turismo. Like they weren't, just crumpling cars up like that.
Right.
That's burnout, right? Burnout can do that.
Yeah.
So it's funny. Okay, so early in this game, they have that intro thing, right?
Where they drop you out of the airplane.
Yeah. I mean, it looks incredible.
Yeah.
I was kind of bored by that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was like, all right, okay, this is cool. Yeah, I'm happy I'm playing the game. And then like it keeps going.
It's a typical intro to the Forza games,
And they're showing you all the areas, the different terrains and things like that. Right. And it's cool to get an idea of everything you're going to experience and different types of cars.
And the dust storms and all that fun stuff. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
I'm like someone who's like not into car culture. Just the characters talking about this car stuff and like this festival. And I'm like, I don't care, man. I don't.
Me too. And I was like, what? Just let me race. Come on. And customizing characters. It's like, I don't care about customizing the character.
Well, see, that I was actually very happy. I was like, all right, really? I get to pick. Okay. Yeah, I was like, ooh, I get to pick a character. And that's like something that annoyed me because you get to make your character and then like, what are you wearing? Just a dumb t-shirt with the Horizon logo on
or something like that. Yeah.
And short. I picked the girl and she's got jean shorts and a dumb shirt with a Horizon logo on it. I'm like, no decent racer would ever wear just this basic ass outfit. I'm like, come on now. Yeah. It's like, that was like, and then I was like, all right, let me go. Do I have money to buy an outfit? I'm like, I guess, but I don't want to spend all my money. Right. So like early on, I was like, God, I hate that my character looks so stupid. but very quickly on, as you start playing the game, once you get into the open world, of course, it's not very far. It doesn't take you very long. Yeah. You're into it very quickly.
Yeah.
That's where it starts to feel like I can do anything. I can get anything. I'm getting rewards left and right.
Right.
I'm getting a good amount of money to the point where like, I can spend 30,000 credits on a shirt.
On a,
on a
shirt.
It seems silly,
on a jacket, right? Like 50,000 credits on a jacket or something like that. Yeah.
Something that always drives me insane about video games where the pricing for like something important like a car versus a pair of pants It's
Yeah.
like, I can buy a pair of pants for $100,000. I could buy a car for $100,000. Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. It's the same.
You're
You're telling
right.
me it's the same currency. No, this doesn't
Right.
make sense. But it is, and
Right.
that's video games. So like, you got to live with
Yeah.
it. But they're giving you
Right.
enough money where like, I'm at a, like, I don't have tons of money, but I'm getting enough where I'm like, sometimes I don't care and I just spend it.
Yeah.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not into cars that much. So like, I don't care very much about all the supercars, right?
But which cars did you use, though, Carl? I used, when I began the game, I used the Corvette, the orange-colored Corvette. And then I also used in the sand or the dirt racing areas of the maps, I was using that, I forget what it's called, but it was like the black and green Monster Energy, like a buggy type of thing. I forget.
Oh, the buggy? Well, not, they give you like that
I
Hoonigan
forget.
car early, I think, and they give you a Ford Bronco.
Yeah.
And is it a Supra?
But I
that they
actually
give you?
bought this one. I bought it for
Oh, you
like
bought it. Okay.
like 16,000 credits or something. You could buy that one. So because it was Monster Energy, and of course I drink Monster Energy every day, so why not?
Okay. They give you get the spins, right? You get the spins, and you get like a random reward.
Yeah,
sometimes it's a good amount of money. Sometimes it's a car, and I'm like, what?
And sometimes it's like only 1,000 credits or something.
Yeah, it's like, but I got the Lambo, like one of the Lamborghinis.
Oh, cool! Nice.
In my spin, I'm like, sure, this car is incredible. It's like really, like, it's a really high rated car. I'm like, God, I just got that for nothing. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
the game is very much like, just have fun, just enjoy. Like, race any track with any car, race any. It doesn't matter. It lets you choose difficulty on the fly. Yeah, which is nice. It lets you can, if you notice, they match the rankings of your competitors' cars to whatever car you pick.
Right.
So they're never going to let you be at this like monstrous disadvantage or huge advantage, Right. They're not going to let you like blow out the competition. I've got a Lambo and everybody's got like, Ford Pintos. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. They're not going to let you do that.
Yeah.
But I was like, for me, like, I like, cars that I know from like a certain era or older cars or cars that aren't like these, like I said, the supercars. Like, I don't care about the supercars that look like these fucking rockets and these crazy wings and like, they look wild and they're super, it's fine. It's fun to race those. But like, I bought like a Toyota MR2,
Oh, okay.
Which like from the 90s, like and I bought a Mitsubishi GTO, which is like a car that I wanted once in my life, that I never got. That type. Those are the cars that I like to play. And what's cool is you can actually, like, they're not great at some of these cars, right? You can buy and they're not that good of a car, but you can do an auto like upgrade and upgrade it to a certain level. So like there's like the A, B, C ranking, S ranking, S1 rankings, and you can upgrade them. It'll automatically give you all the stuff you need to upgrade it to like a competitive version of that car, which is fun.
Right.
And jumping into those cars and looking at all the bells and whistles is really, really great. I think a good thing about this game's experience is not just the playing and racing the game. It's like looking at all the cars, racing the cars, modifying the cars. There's
obviously,
so much you can do.
So much.
Put like an Xbox logo on my car.
Cool. Yeah, and then there's little like campaign portions of the game too, whereas I think it was like really early on, you go up into the hills and you find some girl's like father or grandfather's old souped up Volkswagen Bug, or something like that. Yeah, so
they introduce you to the barn finds mechanic. Yeah,
the barn finds and stuff like that. Yeah. So.
I appreciate there is a story, sort of, right? I'm not sure, it's not a deep thing or anything, but like there's characters. The dialogue's good. Yeah. I mean, I don't care about racing culture stuff. So again, like talking about racing stuff, and I'm like, racing stuff. But like, I do appreciate that the effort is good. The voice acting's good. There's, it feels like they wanting you to like set up the festival locations in different places, and you unlock those, and those bring you to little different story moments. So like I went and I did the Wilds one.
Mhm.
and then I did the street one, and then and there's just little story elements to all that, and I like that.
Yeah.
And I like character creation, customization. Oh,
Yeah.
it's always fun to have. It doesn't seem necessary for a racing game, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay, so my final question to you, Carl, on this game: how much longer do you think you'll put into it? How many more hours do you think? Because there's, like I said, there's so much coming out, and I'm not much of a racing fan,
I know.
so I might put a couple more hours into it, and then it's going to be like Forza Horizon 4. It's going to be, just sitting in the sitting on the hard drive.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I do feel like I think about it and I want to play it. But
Yeah.
I'm not sometimes, like when I'm not after I played it and I haven't played it for a bit, I'm like, yeah, I want to go back in and like mess with this car, get some other car.
Yeah.
I'm sort of at odds with it sometimes because sometimes I start playing and I'm like, all right, what do I do? I'm like, I could do anything. I'm kind of bored that I can do anything and
Yeah.
I'm not directed. But then I start playing and I start driving around and doing things. And I'm like, oh yeah, like it is fun. I can just do anything and I can find objectives and I can,
Right.
I want to buy a new car. I have money. Like, let me just buy a new car and like mess with it, change the colors and change the spoiler or, the trim. You can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
You can even get into like the crazy deep stuff and change all the technical crap, which I know nothing about.
Yeah. You can become a maintenance person and just,
Which I think
do
is
everything
interesting.
to the
The
inner
game,
parts of the car.
I think, I don't know if there's any aspect of the game that cares to teach you about that. It doesn't. And maybe, I don't think there is a point, which is fine because it's supposed to be the more casual version, but it does have the elements of those, like a Gran Turismo,
Yeah.
they're in there. If you care about that stuff, they're in there.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, as a game, like, okay, if you're looking at it like Psychonauts 2, right? Like I played Psychonauts 2 as a game I wasn't going to play. I played it because of Game Pass and it's my game of the year. I love it. I would play, if Game Pass stopped existing, I would want to get Psychonauts 3.
Yeah.
I don't think that applies to this game. Like if Game Pass wasn't there anymore, I'm not going to buy Forza Horizon 6.
Right. I completely agree. I'm on the same boat with you on that, man. I mean, yeah, it's just, racing games really aren't my cup of tea. I mean, I love to play them once in a great while, but even if this didn't exist, I wouldn't be upset. It's
but it's fantastic and it's fun. Like someone who's not into that, I'm having fun with it. And I do want to have more fun with it. And there's silly things about it that are fun. Like if you've tried to get any of those like XP boards or the fast travel boards, right? Sometimes they put them on top of buildings. And the first time I saw it, I was like, what the hell? Like, how do I, like, you can't climb it. How do you get on this building? It doesn't make any sense. I'm like looking around, like, where do I jump from? There's got to be a place I can jump from. And I like kind of like, I don't want to figure this out right now, but one of the jumps, there are like the danger board jumps, right? Specifically in the game. And I did one of those and I landed somewhere near one of those like boards on a house. I was like, oh, that's how I do it. This is all right. Let me go back and do it. And because of the rewind feature, which I love, by the way, rewind is fantastic. It makes this game like fun in a sense. Like if I screwed up, I'm not a big fan of racing. Like I don't care. I just hit rewind. I don't use it a ton, but like when I really, really screw up and I want to win something or do something, rewind.
Cool.
And so I go back on the jump. I make my approach on it and I jump. I miss. I'm like, okay, rewind. Cool. Go right back. Adjust a little fine tune adjustment. Not miss. I missed so many times trying to get this thing, but I was having fun trying to like nail that sign on top of a house, And I know there's crazier ones. I saw one that's like up in the power lines. So it's fun. It's really good. It's a racing game. And I know a lot of people are not going to be super into doing just racing.
Yeah. I mean, even during some of the races, I was just trying to crash into people just to have fun with them, just crash, just bump them off the side or,
It doesn't, and it doesn't have the effect you really want because it's a real racing game and like that's not how you race.
But then again,
so,
you have the option also of just racing against AI cars too. So, I mean,
that's all I've ever done. I've never done any competitive stuff.
Yeah.
I do want to check out the thing where you can create your own events and the design lab stuff.
No.
Because I know there's like wild stuff you can do, and it's giving you it's prompting you to play people's things as you go. And I haven't done those yet.
Yeah.
I do want to see what's in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, this is, this is a big grab for Game Pass, especially heading into the holiday season. Of course, with the biggest of the big ones coming up next month with Halo Infinite. And of course, I have to throw this in there, Carl. These people out there, they're thinking that the Halo Infinite multiplayer is going to drop on the 15th.
There's a lot of people.
I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying that, and
just a lot of people who know.
Go ahead.
Who are in the know, who are like saying, who are like sort of buying into this, and it makes me question, like, maybe they do know something. I don't think it's going to happen. It seems like a weird thing to do. I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah. I'll bet our other co-host Burley, I'll bet him $5 or 5 cases of spiritual opium that it's not going to launch on the 15th. I mean, everybody's saying, oh, it's because of the 20th anniversary of the what is it? Halo Combat Evolved, I think it was.
And Xbox in general.
And Xbox in general, yeah. So
right.
that it's gonna launch then. I just launch it all together.
It's funny because this
on the 8th.
People want it to be, because that's what people initially were predicting, right? Like everyone's prediction was like, even you were kind of predicting that too, or near that date, before we knew the date, right?
Right.
Of Halo. Everyone was like, yes, it's going to be on the 15th because that's the, anniversary. I'm like, but why does that? You don't need to do that. It's not necessary. I think it's bad if they do it. I think I honestly think, like, why would you buy the game if they're just going to drop the multiplayer without the campaign on Monday?
Yeah.
And you get to play that for at least, 20 some odd days.
Right.
And then campaign drops. Are you going to spend $60 to buy the campaign at that point?
No.
Maybe if you're super into Halo.
Yeah.
If you're not, you're going to be like, well, I played enough of this game to know, like, I don't really care for or need the campaign, or like, I think it's a bad decision. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't know what you get when you buy the retail copy. Do you get any bonus? Like, what do you get for the multiplayer? Are you getting a battle pass? Are you getting some unique things that you can't get?
I would assume it's some type of battle pass and other perks, You're
getting experience or whatever, something.
Yeah.
Like what's in that
XP
that
bonuses
retail,
or whatever.
Yeah, what's in that retail package? I don't think they've really said, other than it's the campaign, guys. Now you're just paying $60 for the campaign.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't do it, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's all going to launch on the 8th. So
not that it wouldn't work. I mean, they have that event. They have the event, right? They have the 20th anniversary event. Yeah. But Aaron Greenberg was out there on Twitter saying, like, this is not going to be like a news beat event.
That's right.
Specifically said that, and like,
that's right.
I saw that, and I'm like, I don't expect anything like that. You're telling me that he said that, and they're gonna shadow drop Halo on that day. No. And if it's on that day, there's no way that they're not announcing it at that event, right? Why else? Where would you do it then?
Well, I mean, it's a 20th anniversary event. You would think they would shadow drop like some more original Xbox titles or 360 titles onto Game Pass or something like that.
Which I think is a very real idea, a realistic thing, because there's people out there saying, like, they're seeing updates for old games on their system. Like, it's prompting them to do a small little update on like some older backwards compatible titles, which may have something to do with like FPS boosts and things like that. So I think as far as announcements for that event, it's going to be like, some FPS boosts, some backwards compatibility stuff. I mean, maybe we'll see a little bit of something we've already seen, but I think for the most part, it's just going to be a nostalgia fun event. And we're not going to get all that.
One other thing about Game Pass. Oh, just before you go on, Carl, I just want to mention too, one other thing about December for Game Pass, and a lot of PC players, that have been playing this game, it's actually coming to Game Pass, is Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's big. That was big on PC, obviously. Now it's coming to Xbox as well. So, yeah. And to Game Pass. So, yeah. That's just going to boost Game Pass in December, as well as the game that we were talking about earlier in the Gunk, So,
right. Yeah. If you're looking for a system this holiday, you don't have any of these. I mean, get an Xbox with Game Pass and you get, you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to pay anything more for that month. And you would get Forza Horizon 5, you get Halo Infinite, you get the Gunk, you get, Among Us, like you're saying. And then, of course, the entire back catalog of all their stuff that's on there.
Yeah.
So, it's totally the thing to get for the holiday.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask is, where do you fall on the Forza Horizon 5 now? Now you've played some of it, as a possible Game of the Year contender.
I don't think it's going to be considered for Game of the Year, really. I mean, it might get considered for Game of the Year in some of the graphical categories, maybe. But
personally, you don't think
no.
It'll happen. Do you think?
I don't think it's going to be a Game of the Year contender.
Do you think it's worthy of?
Worthy?
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, if you were in charge, right? Would you allow that?
Put me on the spot, Carl. Okay,
that's what I'm. I think that's the important question. Like, whether or not it actually happens. I mean, we will see, and it's possible.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. This is just my personal opinion, obviously.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not going to be a Game of the Year contender. I don't think.
Okay.
What racing game has won Game of the Year, Carl?
I mean, I'm sure none. I'm sure none have even been.
So I think that trend is going to continue.
Right.
Just honestly, I mean,
Yeah,
the technical type of awards, though, I can see it being nominated.
Well, yeah, right.
Obviously, so
yeah. I mean, like, for me personally, like, if I was to say, is it a game I would nominate? No, because it's not my type of game, right?
Yeah.
Do I think it's worthy? I think at this point, yes, I would say so. Just because it excels so much at everything it does, and it's the best example of that genre. So, like, you're telling me the best example of this genre, possibly the best ever, right? Of that genre.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not allowed. I'm not accusing you. I'm just saying, like, some people would say that, right? So I think if ever the trend will be broken, right? This is the moment, especially
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The competition also isn't that strong this year. So, like, I could see it sneaking in there. Game of the Year. I mean, we should talk, like, what we think will be nominated. When is that happening?
We're going to do that
far.
in the coming weeks. Yeah. In the coming weeks, we're going to be doing our Game of the Year. Our Game of the Year predictions, as well as our own Game of the Year as well. So
I would say I was listening to IGN's Game Scoop podcast, and a couple of them said that, like, they would put Forza Horizon on their short list for Game of the Year, which those are people who are actually voting on it. So it's we'll see. It'll be interesting. It's an interesting conversation for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll be giving our own predictions as well, as we'll be talking about the game awards that are going to be coming up pretty soon too. We'll be hopefully looking at their nominations pretty soon as well too. So okay, let's go ahead and move on to our new game releases for the week of November 15th through the 21st. Wow.
Got to bring that up.
So from releases.com, we're looking at the website, releases.com here. It's like 22 games or whatever. Woo.
Okay. Wait, where are we starting?
From November 15th through the 21st.
Right.
So the first game is November 16th. Which is called Grow, Song of the Evertree for PC and PS4. But
that's my birthday. Oh, we got a lot of stuff on my birthday.
A lot of stuff coming on your birthday, man. So, and probably none of them coming to Game Pass. Sorry.
Probably none of them stuff I would want to play anyway. So, maybe the Smurfs Mission Belief. Is that what?
Yeah, well, we have some Star Wars games though. We've got Jedi Knight Collection for the Switch. Yeah, as well as Star Wars Racer and Commando combo. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about my pick of the week. So, and actually, if you have Game Pass Ultimate and you have EA Play with that, of course, you can play Battlefield 2042. And you can play 10 hours worth, a trial. And I downloaded it today, so that's one of the games I'm going to be playing this coming week. I'm going to put about those 10 hours into that trial. So
I see.
That's going to be that's going to be my pick of the week. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read the information and the gameplay. And this is from the Wikipedia site for Battlefield 2042. So Battlefield 2042 is an upcoming first-person shooter video game developed by DICE and published by Electronic Arts. It is the 17th installment in the Battlefield series, the successor to 2018's Battlefield 5. God, it's been 3 years since that game came out, Battlefield 5. And a return to future settings similar to 2006's Battlefield 2142. Go figure, 2042, 2142. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
The game will be released on November 19th for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. Unlike recent Battlefield games, Battlefield 2042 is solely multiplayer and will not have a single-player campaign. Whereas Call of Duty Vanguard will have single-player and multiplayer. So it will feature cross-platform play, a first in the series. Yeah. So let me read a little bit of the gameplay here. So similar to its predecessors, Battlefield 2042 is a multiplayer focused first-person shooter. There you go, Carl. Boo. Yeah, it's the first person.
Yes, boo.
So as the game is set in the near future, it features futuristic weapons and gadgets like deployable turrets and drones, as well as vehicles that players can commandeer. Players can now request a vehicle airdrop to any location. So that's just a little bit of the gameplay for Battlefield 2042. So yeah, I'm going to give this a try, Carl. I'm going to play 10 hours of it and see if I like it or not. But I've heard a lot of people that have actually been playing this now that it has a ton of glitches. So,
which is pretty common for the franchise, right?
Yep. Yeah. I think our friend Jez Gordon over at Windows Central, he was playing it, and right when he loaded it up, a helicopter just crashed right in front of him, kind of a glitch.
I saw some Twitter comments from him not being happy about stuff in that game.
Yeah.
Vanguard also is not, people are not liking that game, I don't think.
No.
I watched Angry Joe's review. I don't know if you ever watched Angry Joe.
I've heard of Angry Joe. But,
if you want to laugh at Call of Duty Vanguard, watch that review, because I'm like surprised at some of the stuff in that game. I cannot believe that they are still doing that kind of stuff. But anyway, Battlefield, I mean, it's again another one of those sort of, to me, like generic first person shooters that I'm not going to bother with it,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like racing games, right? It's got to be exceptional for me to really want to play it. And again, you still have to give it to me in Game Pass in some respect, for me to try that type of game.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. What do I want to play? And probably, realistically, nothing, right? Let's just put that out there. I'm not actually going to play any of these games. But if I had all the money in the world to buy anything I want, just throw it away on something that I would maybe play a little and not seriously play.
Okay.
But who knows? I could get into that. Would be Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
All right. So yeah, I was going to say our other co-host Burley of Burleyman Gaming on Twitch. I'm sure that this Diamond and Pearl will probably be his picks of the week. But go ahead, Carl. You can go ahead and read the description of it.
Yeah. Okay. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and of course Shining Pearl enables fans to experience the original story and game features from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl in a fresh way. The original game has been faithfully reproduced and colorfully revitalized for Nintendo Switch. The sense of scale of the towns and routes has been carefully preserved, and fans who played the original game will recognize many familiar faces. the game has, of course, like every face will be in it, right? The game has been updated with the easy to understand, player friendly conveniences introduced in recent Pokemon Core series video games, in addition to up close and personal Pokemon battle scenes. Trainers will choose either Turtwig, Chimchar, or Piplup to be their first partner Pokemon before setting off on their adventure journey. Along the way, they will be able to encounter the legendary Pokemon Dialga in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. And I'm sure it's different in Pearl. Dialga, there you go. That sounds better.
Yeah.
Let me see. What's in Pearl? It is Palkia.
Okay.
So, I mean, I never played this era of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when this was first shown, I criticized the art style of the overworld stuff. Mm-hmm. But at this point, distance from there, I kind of like, now that I see the game, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine, whatever, Yeah. It's a Pokemon game. I guess it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, I mean, visually, they're upgrades to the 3DS versions and all, but I mean, yeah.
So like, I would.
I was going to say the last Pokemons to come out on the Switch, they sold very well. So,
yeah. As a friend of mine would so callously say about women, I would say I wouldn't kick it out of bed.
Yeah.
If you gave me it, I would be like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. I'll play it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's about it for the 15th through the 21st. Whiskey Mafia on the 19th for the Switch. Yeah. It's another one.
Oh, I didn't say the date. Yeah, it was the 19th.
Yeah. Yes. For Diamond and Pearl. Yeah.
Yes. So. Only on the Switch. And okay. No
only
PC.
On the Switch. And believe me, Carl,
man.
boy, oh boy, on the first day next week on the 19th, man, at Yodobashi Camera, there's going to be lines of parents and their kids picking up the physical copies of either Diamond or Pearl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's every year it's the same, man. It's a madhouse.
Yeah, I imagine.
Pokemon is huge out here, obviously. So
it's a great franchise, man. I want to see it grow, and I know Burley had Pokemon Legends Arceus on his list of most anticipated games.
Yep.
And I didn't make my list, but I am really interested in that game. I want to see something fresh in that world because I do enjoy Pokemon. It is a good turn-based RPG.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about some of our announcements for our Patreon content. Actually, we're going to be doing another episode of the Marvelous Marvel discussion arena based on the Eternals movie. We're going to be doing that next week. So Burley, our other co-host of Burleman Gaming on Twitch, he's going to be joining us for that. So the three of us will be doing our reaction and discussion for the Eternals. So I hope you've gone and seen that so that you can watch it and, whether you agree or disagree with our reactions and our discussion of the Eternals, that's going to be our next episode on the Marvel series. And we also have a new Twitter page for our Patreon. It's at @TAC_Patreon. So please go and check out our new Twitter page for our Patreon content. So that page will cover all of our shows, as well as this podcast and all of our shows, the Marvel show, and our future shows that are going to be coming up on Patreon as well. So go and check that out. So next week, I'm going to be playing Battlefield 2042, Carl. I'm going to be playing the 10-hour trial of that. And, of course, I'm still playing the Discovery Tour on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I want to get back to that. And Valhalla's got a couple of new events coming up, like a winter festival event that they have. And it's really interesting how Valhalla is, just churning out the content. And I think they're going to be churning out the content all the way until the next Assassin's Creed game comes out, which is probably going to be next year. in the fall. We shall see.
It's like, that's your game that you can't stop going back to, right?
That's right. I can't. So hey, I've got my Odyssey hat on here, but those of you watching the video version. So
I think it's important to have a comfort food game.
Yeah, that's my comfort game, basically. Yeah. So anything like that revolves around history, I love those type of things. Love those type of games. So what are you going to be playing this next week?
I do plan to play more Forza Horizon 5. Darkest Dungeon 2. I think I'll still keep plugging away at that. I'm still having fun. I should jump into something else. There's nothing else major. I should jump into either Moonglow Bay or Forgotten City. I feel like Forgotten City, I have to be in the mood. It's a straight story type thing, right? There's not too much else going on, right?
Right.
So I might try Moonglow Bay before that. And of course, there's always the chance that I play more State of Decay 2. Because that is the comfort food for me.
Comfort food game for you, yeah.
I do want to say I put in now at least a lengthy session of maybe an hour and a half or so playing it strictly on the cloud, right, on my Xbox One X. And I would say it felt pretty much native.
Wow.
I did not feel playing the game to me physically, moving the characters around, using the interface, felt almost identical to what I was playing on my regular console, Series X. It runs 60 frames per second. It's 1080p, right? Because it's not going to do the 4K, but I'm playing it on a 1080p monitor, so it doesn't matter, Yeah. I'm very impressed with how well the cloud can work in a good situation, how well it can feel. And I notice something that's interesting that it does is if it loses some sort of connection or I'm assuming what's happening, right? If it's losing signal, it actually drops the graphical fidelity. Sometimes maybe that's not what it's doing so much as it's prioritizing your control of the game over what you're seeing. So sometimes you will see this line go across, just painting down the picture of it's horribly pixelated, right? And then it wipes across and eventually goes away. And that's really weird, right? And you think that's terrible, but it doesn't happen very often. I've seen it only a handful of times. And what I think is interesting it's doing is it's avoiding your actual gaming play experience or what you're doing with the characters and controlling from basically being screwed up, right? I didn't lose control of my character. I just the game looked like shit for a couple seconds.
I see. Cool. All right. So with that, before we conclude the episode, I want to let everyone know where you can find me on social media. You can find me on Twitter at expat_gamer, the podcast Twitter handle at the Arena AMPGNP, which stands for a multi-platform gaming news podcast. And Burley, Carl, and I are on our new Patreon Twitter page at TAC_Patreon. TAC stands for the Arena Citadel. So my general content creator site is at expat2020.live. And on YouTube, my channel for gaming and podcast content named Expat YouTube Gaming is at youtube.com/expat2020gaming. And the podcast channel for entertainment and pop culture is at youtube.com/the-arena citadel. So all my social media links, as well as an invite to the Arena Podcast Discord, are at Linktree. That's at linktr.ee/expat2020. So that does it for me. Carl, where can people find you on social media, man?
I am just on Twitter at TurnBasedCarl. Come talk to me. Tell me how you think Halo Infinite is coming out multiplayer on November 15th, Monday.
Yep. And also, throw Carl a line on our new Patreon Twitter too. I'm sure he'll respond to you. So yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And
so
Burley,
to end the show,
talk to Burley. Okay, go watch
Burley
his
as well. Yes,
he needs some love. He's got a tough work thing going on. Okay.
Yeah. So, Burley also, you can throw him a line on our new Twitter Patreon page, and he'll get back to you as well as all of our other, on our Discord and our other sites, our Podbean website as well. So, okay, to end the show, our indie recording artist spotlight. This week's spotlight is on Peter Spacey. Peter Spacey is a DJ and producer with a traditional jazz piano background. He's best known for his glitched grooves and spicy beats. Peter's unique signature sound results from a rare combination of flavors, exploring the relationship between audio elements and visual aesthetics. From his album titled Peter Spacey and Floating Anarchy, and the song is called Liquid Planet. This has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 62. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, TurnBasedCarl, and for our other co-host, Burley of Burleyman Gaming on Twitch, who will be back with us next week. We hope to catch you in the next one, either in video or audio formats. So take care, everyone. Peace out.